Hey everyone, out here on the game lands in Davie County again today, focusing on the properties off of Point Drive. There's two of them. One we're going to designate as the north end, and then the one on the south end. The one on the north end is kind of like the one in Rowan County. It's kind of large in the beginning, narrows down to a small little section as you walk north, and then opens up again wider to the north. According to the map, the far northern end of it looks like it's had some clear cutting done. So I don't know if there's gonna be any pigs up around there anyways, but we're gonna hit the section on the riverside, work our way up, and then come back down to the other property line and work in between and see what we can find. The one on the south end, kind of gonna do the same thing. It's got some clear cut sections of it. So we're gonna kind of circle around that, get towards the river and work our way around. Two large properties, so I'm gonna try to get them both in today, but still gonna try to get some good footage for you. All right, here we are off of Point Drive. As you can see, there's a lot of kudzu right through here, all the way up to the end where there's a little bit of a power line cut out. That's if this is the north side, this would be the far western end of it, and down here would be the eastern end. It looks like a little trail heading back through there. I thought about trying to get off that and go through here, but that kudzu is really thick, so you can imagine here in the next couple weeks when it starts getting warm how thick that's going to be. But I'm going to hit this trail, then see where it takes us, and try to get down towards the river. Alright, so we're just about to the river now, coming down through that trail, kind of this little bit of a little swampy area right here. You can definitely tell it's underwater most of the time with all the mud up on the trees and all that. I'm telling you right now, it's a lot thicker getting down in here than it was on that Rowan County side. It'd be a heck of a hike to try to get something out. All right, so here we are. We made it down here to this corner of the property, the first point of the property that comes out along the river. You can see it here flowing rather nicely, and down through here you can see where they've been at the water's edge. They either swam across or run along the side of it, because there's plenty of tracks leading right back up into this thick stuff over here. So alright, so we just came out from down at the river, just on the other side of that little bank right there, and there's some signs here, good trails, some old rooting. It's not as fresh as I like to see, but sign, it means they've been here at one point or another. And you can see up here even more. They really tore the ground up here, especially around all this dead stuff, rooting around there looking for bugs or whatever they can find. But yeah, good sign. Of course, it's right along the river as we expected. Alright, so I followed that game trail, and it led me back down towards this little bit of a creek. The river's right on the other side of that bank there. There's this little creek with some flowing water running through it, and you can see where they've been jumping across this creek here. You can see where they've been sliding down that little embankment there, and tracks are leading up through that little, looks like a little bit of a marshy area. So I'm gonna follow that out. It's probably gonna keep me right alongside the river like we had hoped for, but it all the way straight through back up towards that creek. It looks real flat and real green, so probably some good sign up in there as well. So we're gonna check it out, see what we can find. So walking through this narrow strip of the property I was telling you about, up there on that ridge line, if you can see it, it's going to be the property boundary. And I come across this, not what I wanted to see, but it's a little four-wheeler trail that runs here alongside the river. It looks like it gets used pretty frequently, which is not a great sign for me, but it did allow me to find some good sign. There's some nice hog prints. I'll put my hand down here to the side of it so you can kind of see the the scale of it here. It's a fairly good sized pig. That four-wheeler trail, I had to make a hard left turn down there towards the river because there's this huge, well, I won't say huge, but a large ravine down in here. But you can see where the pig has been crossing over and going up the hill, all up and down through here. So I'm gonna try to find a way to get over that without getting stuck in this clay, and see what I can find. Still trying to find my way over this creek here. I think I found the best spot for me. But as I did, take a look at what I came up on. I mean, they've been in here a lot, and fairly recent too. So again, this is all flat bottom land in here. Good thick stuff for them too. All right, so I made it across, and this is what I came up on. More rooting. Again, this is all a little swampy, marshy area, so it's gonna be perfect for them. Wishing I brought me a change of clothes now, because it was a little tricky getting through that thick stuff down in there. But all right, I stuck to one of the main game trails that I was able to find, and it led me out here towards that opening where it looks like clear cut from the satellite views, and I come across something I wasn't expecting to find, but nice little pool of water right here, and there's tracks leading all down to it. Again, pigs love water, and I don't expect this stays flooded all the time. I know we had a bunch of rains in the last couple of weeks, so that might have contributed to this, but yeah, I found some more flooded area. This looks like it's got some running water coming to it. It doesn't look as stagnant or settled, but there's tracks leading up to this as well. And just on the other side of that little ridge right there is the river. I'm walking up that little bit of a flooded area that I was telling you about, where it starts to narrow, gets much smaller. I came upon this. Still a good sign. You can see where they've been out here wallowing in that mud hole right there. I mean, you can even see the hair on the side. I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer to it. See, I mean, you can actually see where the hair has rubbed on it. Right in there, you can see the hairs. Take a look at this tree right here. They have rubbed up against this so much. This isn't beaver, this is definitely pigs. They've rubbed up against this so much that they just wore the bark off of this tree. And you see all the pig tracks down here at the bottom. I don't know what it is about this tree, but man, looks like they come to it all the time. And there's mud hanging off of it and everything. Wow, that's impressive. So I'm still traveling north through the property, and I come across another creek here, and take a look on the other side where they've been. I mean, they're crossing it wherever they can, and this is some steep drop-offs. But what's funny is there's tracks leading down this log all the way across. You can see right there in the middle where it's gotten real rubbed down, and they're just tightrope walking across this log and going right on to the other side. I made it to the other side of the creek finally. Like an idiot, I left my rubber boots back there at the truck, which I hadn't, but a lot of that's a bunch of almost like quicksand type stuff. But as soon as you get across the creek, I mean, it's nothing but pig tracks down in here. You can see where they've been crossing here. I haven't made my way back down to where that tree came over the creek, but it's a huge thoroughfare, if you want to call it, for pigs. All this flat area here is just, there's nothing but pig tracks. They've been out in here. I still haven't made it to that little tree yet, but I just want to show you how much they have tore up this ground. This is all fresh stuff too. It's not even, it's still wet. Just a little bit of drying, but they
have absolutely tore this property up. This is the best sign I've seen on this piece of the property yet. All right, so I finally made it back up here to that tree that come across. So it looked like they were tightrope walking around it, and you can see where they've come up through here and started right around the base of that tree. I mean, they've tore it up behind me, all around, all down in here. I mean, this is just some really heavy, thick rooting that's going on down in here. And you can see the river flowing right back through there. As I expected, one of those trails took me right into this little opening area, flat area next to the river, and it's tore up. Alright, so we're almost to the northern end of the property, and I just stayed alongside the river over here in this little low-lying area. There's a ridge that goes up along the left side if you're walking north, and then drops back down into the woods, and it just kind of funnels everything down through here. There's so much pig sign. If I videoed it all, this video would be a couple hours long, but I came across this little creek flowing through here, and it's made a pretty swampy, marshy area, and like you can see, it's tore up everywhere down through here. All right, so I got to the north end of the property and started working my way back through the woods and come across this trail here. And it's a trail used very, very frequently. A lot of new signs, a lot of new tracks in it. And it looks like it's, according to the map, it looks like it's running right down to the river. Alright, so this is where all these little trails is leading to, is to water, just like you figure a pig would do. From this side there's pines, and it's a bunch of little trails leading down here to it, and on that side there's pines. And I'll try to mark it on the map so I can show it later, but it's a little opening in the middle of all these pines, and it's water, so go figure. So I just picked a trail coming away from that water, and you can just, these little muddy little feet, it carries with them. I don't even care. If you just take a look at the brush that you pass on these trails, and you can just see clumps of mud stuck to it, or they've walked through and brushed up against it, so you know you're on a good. So I just picked a trail coming away from that water, and you can just, these little muddy little feet, it carries with them. I don't even care. If you just take a look at the brush that you pass on these trails, and you can just see clumps of mud stuck to it, or they've walked through and brushed up against it, so you know you're on a good spot. But yeah, this is, even in this thick stuff here, you can see a lot of trails. Of course, all these trails are leading to water, so if you can find you one of these little small marshy areas back in here and sit up, you probably do pretty good. Okay, hey everybody, just got back out in my truck. Took me a lot longer than I expected to scout this property. I didn't even get the south end of the property done today. I'll have to come back again and do that another day, but I just got the north end. I went all the way from the parking location to the northern end, and I saw a sign everywhere. If I had to give this a grade, I can't remember in my last video if I did a 1 to 10 scale or a F to F scale, but if I had to grade this one, I'd say, wow, there's a ton of pigs on this property. And once I couldn't get the camera up fast enough, I ran off a bunch of them. I just saw a flash of them, and then I mean, they were scattering everywhere through the woods. There's not a trail that I took that I didn't stay on sign. Hoof prints everywhere. Every trail down there seemed to lead to water, some type of water, whether it was a creek, a beaver pond, just lowland water, the river. If you found hoof prints, you would eventually find water if you followed them. Even in that thick pines, even in those thick pines, it blew my mind that I came up on some water down in there, and it looked like it holds water throughout the year, the way the mud was up the trees and all that. So now on the north end, it's clearly marked at the very end of the property. Whoever owns it has plenty of no trespassing signs, and there's a creek that divides the two properties, so there's not an issue of stumbling across that. On the far, if you're going into the property and the far left boundary, especially on that narrow section where it opens up again on the north end, there's barbed wire fence, and it's thick through there, so thick. So just keep that in mind. Now, do I think somebody could shoot a pig in there? Definitely. Any time of the season, any season. Turkey season, you might want to get closer to the game trails, down close to these creeks and these boggy areas. Rifle season, during deer season, if you were to post yourself up on one of these, that ridge right there on the left side going in, where it narrows down to that real small strip of land, gosh, it's just a prime pathway for them. I mean, it's so many predominant trails going through there that they use that daily, I'm sure. So I mean, if you were prop up on top of that ridge with a rifle, you'd have enough. You'd be able to see far enough to get you one for sure. Some musts for that area definitely is some knee-high rubber boots, some snake guard or some snake boots if you got them, and a thermocell, because there was mosquitoes out today and it only got up to like 50. It's real snaky, a lot of water, so there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes too. So make sure you pack that. A GPS wouldn't be a bad idea either, because you can get turned around in there pretty easy. I mean, if you can get to the river, which ain't hard, you can pretty much follow it back up. But it's real thick in there and real swampy too. So just keep that in mind. Like I say, I didn't get the southern side of the road, that strip of property. So I'm gonna come back another day and do that. But again, this one, wow. I can't wait to hear some stories of y'all coming out here in the spring and getting one. I hope to do the same thing. So hope to catch you back here soon. And until next time.